And then we're gonna do screen share. And then do the, yep, that one right there. And then hit share. Perfect. Okay.
Good morning, Karen.
Good morning.
How are you, young lady?
I'm good. My system is telling me that you guys have stopped my video.
Say that one more time.
My system is telling me that.
Yes, please, if everybody could stand by while we start everything up, that'd be fantastic. We're
Roger
getting
that.
everything turned on right now.
Okay.
So go back to that dot. Okay. You're recording. Now go back over here to the screen share menu and then go to the three dots on the right and do the live YouTube. Okay, everybody should be able to start your own video now, all of the panelists. And we are in the mute and unmute self-muting mode. So hi, Karen.
Hello, how are you?
Good. Larry, I see your name. There you go.
I'm trying to turn my video on here.
Fantastic. Hi, Larry.
Oh, there I am.
Hi, Jenna. We see your face.
Hold on one second. I got Jim Johnson on the phone. Morning, Jim. Hello. Maybe it was a butt dial. Jim, are you there? Yeah, I should hear you fine. Yeah, we're hooked up right now as we speak. We're just getting started. Yeah, you're breaking up too. Okay, I'll let him know. All right. Okay. Bye-bye. Jim just wanted to say he's going to be about 20 minutes late before he can get some Wi-Fi. Did you guys
Okay.
hear me?
Yep. Hey,
Okay.
Larry,
Yes, ma'am.
you have a very large sunlight coming in through that window behind you that is making it difficult to see your face.
That better?
Much.
Okay.
Thank you.
Maybe I'll turn this light off too. No, that gets too dark. Okay. We haven't been getting much sunlight the last few months, so we're tickled to see it.
I understand.
Good morning.
Hi, Jen.
Jan.
You know, depending how this goes, I think we could do the winter IBT this way and save everybody a lot of time and effort.
Yes and no. My personal feeling is this is nice when we have to, and I have a couple of ideas that I want to run by the region officers towards the end of the meeting. But I think there's a lot of stuff that gets done as we just sit in small groups and meet face to face, and that's
I
what we're
agree.
missing out on this time.
I agree with that.
So, yes, I think this has some advantages, but I would hate to see us do away with the midwinter IBT.
I would too.
I'm not a techo guy, so this is, I'm surprised it's all working for me, actually.
Don't brag too soon.
Well, good point.
Yes, I've definitely had my problems with it. Although today everything seemed to go pretty smooth. Knock on wood.
Well, I'm glad you guys started early. That's a help because it kind of worked through any bugs we might have had.
Yep, that's why I'm here this early too, so.
Lori Plummer's been a busy lady, hasn't she? Sharing her group.
Yeah,
Great.
we've been having some great times here.
I imagine you
Lori
have.
Plummer is always a busy lady.
Hey, Karen, I think our attendees are, I don't know if anybody can speak on the attendee side. I'm just curious. We have the everybody unmuted, self-muting is how we're working through this. But I
didn't think attendees could speak unless they were brought over to the panelist side.
You're probably correct.
Yeah, I think we have to allow.
Yeah, so Bob, I see Bob Caldwell, John Holly, Linda Shelton, me again, and then Vicki Courtney sitting there. So if y'all could raise your hand, I'm just doing a little test on the technical side to Linda, Vicki, John, Bob, thank you, everybody. So I know they can hear us. So as Karen starts her session here, I don't know if any of you have been in the previous sessions, but if you have something to say, raise your hand and Karen will call on you.
Welcome, Fred and Richard. We need you to turn your video on. Good morning, Fred. And Richard's little fuzzy. Oh, there he is.
Good morning.
Good morning and welcome.
I was trying to bring up a virtual background, so I wasn't successful in doing that.
That's all right. We like looking at the wires or whatever that is in your background.
That's the torture chamber. That's the workout gear.
Ah, okay.
You want to go on this.
Hello, John.
Hello.
Jan, did you move your space slightly or your camera slightly?
Who, me?
No, Jan.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yep, thank you. There's glare coming off that plaque.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Is it gone?
No, it's gone now.
There.
That's fine. Thank you.
Okay, good.
It just makes it easier to see your lovely face.
Oh, thank you.
Aaron, I cannot see John.
He went to the bathroom.
No,
I mean,
Richard left. John's here.
Why wouldn't they be showing up on my screen? I've got you, I've got Laura, I got Jan, and myself.
Well, I've got 9 people now.
You have me,
Who's me? I have Patty Reed.
Patty. Yeah, Patty.
I have audio for Patty. I do not have video.
Oh, I see what I have to do now. I see John. John just came up. Hi, John. How you doing?
There's a couple different views that you can choose for your screen. One will highlight the speaker all the time and have the rest of the people in a real small thing across the top. The other choice is what they call a gallery
There we
view,
go.
where you will see everybody that's on.
Oops, that didn't work good. Go back to where it was at.
Okay, we have a phone call from a 260-409-4750. Would you please identify yourself?
It's Christopher Seplak.
Hi, Chris.
Okay,
Barb, can you?
I'm going to be listening, but I will not be talking properly.
That's fine.
Okay.
Barb, would you? Thank you. Chris, we just updated your square to show your name instead of the phone numbers so that we know who's
That's
talking.
fine. That's fine.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Trying to adjust my screen so you can see I'm wearing my Loveland shirt. Hi, Lori. Hi, Deb.
Sorry. Sorry, we have ourselves muted here. So hi, Patty.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm just getting, look at that.
There's Bill. Welcome, Bill.
How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good.
Is it possible to get every single person's picture up at the same time? Or is it limitations and you have to scroll?
You can choose gallery view. The number of screens that will show will be based on the size of your screen and how many pictures it can show. I don't know how small they actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where do you find that?
Yeah.
Pardon, Jan?
Where do you find the gallery option?
It's not up at the top.
I did a, shoot, now I got my different. I went to the top and it came up and it said speaker view or gallery view. Well, it said speaker view. I've got mine currently on gallery. It's a toggle. It goes back and forth.
Huh.
But every computer layout may be different. Check along the bottom for a gallery view versus speaker view.
Video setting. No, I can't find that gallery view.
Me either.
Can I ask you guys, are you seeing the welcome meeting will begin shortly?
Yes.
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 We're in a screen share mode because we're trying to link that out to YouTube since this is going to be live in 18 minutes on YouTube. That may be limiting you to be able to have the gallery view just because of the screen share, just FYI.
Okay.
So actually,
Okay.
what we could do, let me see I'm gonna stop the screen share for just a second and then see and give you guys a minute to see if you can do if you get a gallery view that way. I know for us here, it changes what we see on our screen.
I see a huge me.
You're looking good today.
Yeah, it's probably speaker view then. Whoever is speaking will be highlighted on your screen.
I have
Again,
12 now.
Oh, now gallery view came up. Okay.
okay, there you go. Welcome, Mike.
Oh, there.
Yeah, I'm not getting my
Beautiful
video.
background.
I'm not getting my video for some reason.
We got a beautiful background for you.
I'd just leave that.
No, we'd love to see your face. Hello, Jane. Bill. We got a nice picture of Laverne. There's Tom Smithson.
Let's see. You don't have to get in.
Now you guys are popping up like popcorn.
I see Beth. We don't
Good.
have a video
Can you
of
hear
Beth yet. We can hear you, Beth, but I don't have video.
No video?
You need to connect to your video.
Laverne, that's cheating.
Can you hear?
Laverne, I think it was
Is that
you
better?
speaking. There's Beth. Thank you. Laverne, we have
Yeah.
a picture of you. We don't have live video.
Yeah,
Are
so
you
the problem is that there is sunlight in this room and it's not a good fit, and unfortunately I'm running a program so I have to monitor it.
That's fine. I thought maybe you were
Yeah.
still in your pajamas.
That was my
early.
guess.
I know it's early
so-
out there.
Okay, so yeah. I yeah, that too. Actually, I literally just put a top on.
TMI.
I'm saving all of you from the horrid picture. I'm doing you all a great favor.
You have Mike
Oh,
now. Oh, Mike's
Karen?
listening. Yes.
I just received a phone call from Don Thompson. He will not be joining, so if you want to take that off the list.
Okay.
He's on his way to a medical appointment. The doctor was able to get him in, so he's headed to Fargo.
Yep, that's fine. Understand. Thank you for letting me know.
You bet.
Hello, Beth.
Ciao.
Karen, do you see Joe Poplinski has his hand up?
No,
Would you
I
like
wasn't watching. Yes, would you move him over so he can speak?
We're gonna click on allow to talk. Joe, you should be getting an unmute. There you go.
Yep. I just want to let you know I'm here in case any questions come up with my committee report or motions.
Okay, thank you, Joe. Yeah, I've got a whole list in the attendee area: Joe, Bob Caldwell, Joanne Miller, John Holly, Linda Shelton, and Vicki Courtney. So
I feel like I should switch my view and show you what a gorgeous day it is in Colorado. It's
we can see
beautiful.
the sun coming in the window behind you.
Yeah. So sad. Oh, John, don't cry, John.
Okay. Yeah, I've got instead of looking at the Rocky Mountains, I got to look at a day's full of work today.
Okay, here, I am going to show you what a gorgeous day it is because we got
Good
nothing else to do until they all start anyway. Can you see the mountains back there?
Beautiful.
Oh,
Very
wow.
beautiful.
Yeah, it's a really nice day. I should snap that and let that be my backdrop.
Isn't it always a nice day in Colorado?
Of course, 300 days a year.
Hi, Cecilia. We hear you, but we don't see you.
You should, oops. You do now.
Yes, we do.
Are you seeing my nose today? Are you seeing me better today?
We're seeing the top half of your head.
Yeah, no, I think I have to take a few boxes off, a few books. There. How's that?
A little better. Still seeing most of, like, from your chin up.
Okay.
Don't worry about the I'd rather be camping sign in the background.
It's too loud. My son gave me that for, whoops. Too loud. I just turned off something and lost them.
Just a reminder to everybody, during this session, we are all the panelists, current sitting region officers. You're on self-muting yourself duties. So everybody's unmuted. If we do see some excessive background noise, we will mute you. Not to be hateful, just try to keep things quiet on the home front. So just a reminder on that one.
And on the attendee side, I see we've been joined by the Cape Cod Airstream Club. Would you, I think it may be RJ, but would you please identify yourself? Would you let them speak and update their name for us?
Yeah, it's RJ.
RJ, is that you on Cape Cod?
Yeah.
Thank you.
I also see a James that has called in on the attendee side.
James Polk.
Don't know, but let's update that as well. Verify it and update.
It's me.
Okay, thank you, Jim. And finally, I have a phone number, 971-804-0885.
Mona.
Oh, it is Mona?
It's Mona.
Oh, thank you, Mona.
I don't see anything here.
Okay, welcome, pair. Christine, I see you have a box. We need a video and audio. Nancy Fitzgerald and Gregory Vander, same thing.
They don't have, I'm not sure how to do
Pardon?
it. Oh, you're kidding, and that's impossible.
And just so we know, somebody has a live mic on right now. There, Christine. Hi there. We see you coming online.
Very good. Nancy Fitzgerald and Gregory Vander, do you have audio and or video to share with us?
I do not. I can see you and hear you, but I don't have anything to share.
Okay.
I'm traveling, sorry.
That's all right. Thank you, Nancy. Greg, can you hear us? If you're talking, we cannot hear you, nor can we see you. You need to click on start video and/or start audio, depending on what type of system you're using. There's Greg, thank you. But we still can't hear you. Nope, still can't hear you. Nope, still don't hear you, Greg. Okay, it is 11 o'clock. I'm going to ask everyone to mute themselves. Lori, if you want to go ahead and start the YouTube session and let me know when we're ready to go.
Yeah, we've been live.
Oh, okay. John Leek, you need to mute yourself, please. All right, I want to welcome everyone here today. Thank you for taking time to join us. Normally we start our meetings with some introductions. So I am going to, rather than going around the table, because we don't know, everybody's screen probably looks different. I just want to go by region, start with the region president, and then the first and second vice presidents if they're present. So Per, if you would start us off with region 1.
Hi, I'm Per Hamquist. I am president for Region 1. And I can introduce my first vice president, Doug Hart, who is also on my screen here. And I don't know if Bart Fuller, who is my second VP, is online.
We have
I am
not,
here.
Okay.
we have not seen her. Thank you. Region 2.
Hi, Richard Short, Region 2 President. We have a first and a second VP. RJ Marquette is our first VP, and Gary Russo is our second VP, but I'm not sure that either are on the meeting today.
Okay, thank you. Region 3, John?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, Region 3, John Leek. I don't think Bill Wild is with us today. Christine is here, bottom left corner of my screen, and I think we're missing Jerry Peterson, but anyway, hey everybody.
Okay, and I'm Karen Fisher, president of Region 4, and I have Fred Keel, who is second VP for Region 4 with us today. I don't see Brad Briggs, my first VP, online. So Region 5. Chris, I don't see.
Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead, Chris.
Okay. Bob's not on the line. Okay, this is Christopher Sheplack. I'm first vice president of Region 5, and I'm not sure if Artie's on the line. Is Artie on the line?
I don't see him.
Okay, so that's it.
Okay, Region 6. Anyone from Region 6? Okay, Region 7.
Jim's here.
Jim?
There he is.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yep, now we do. Thanks, Jim.
I'm here. Larry? Okay. Yeah, it says my internet connection is unstable. So as soon as I finish this, I'm going to go dark. But
Okay, and your first and
Hebner on
second
there.
VPs?
Okay, Larry?
Yes, sir. First
Madden is here. I can see his picture. And Jan, I don't. And
she's here.
She's here. Okay, so welcome. Region 8, Mike?
there. Mike Sisk, Region 8. I think Greg Vadner, my first VP, is on as well.
Yes, he is.
Hi, Greg.
Genesis. He's usually either up in his office or in the green on the other side. The White House is in the basement usually.
Fred, you need to mute yourself.
Oh, sorry.
Okay, Region 9.
Bill Kendall, I think Bill Miller and Nancy Fitzgerald are both here.
They are, thank you. Region 10. No one from Region 10. Region 11. Patty, you need to unmute yourself. Patty.
There we go.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Patty Reed, Region 11 President. The incoming Region 11 President is Ken Johansson. The incoming first VP would be Stephen Parr, and then John Holly following him. I'm not sure if any of them are on.
Okay.
I don't think so.
Yeah, Region 12.
Here I am. I just unmuted myself. Cecilia Stansberry is here. I see a picture of Laverne by her name and a picture of Eric by Laverne's name, but I don't know if they're on. So I've got Eric and Laverne both. And my second VP is Abe Hernandez. I gave him a pass today because he's putting new aluminum siding on a trailer and needs to get it finished. He's an Airstream mechanic in the Bay, Southern California. So I told him he better be there Wednesday, but he needs to definitely finish that trailer so somebody can get on the road. And I don't know if you guys see my sign, I'd rather be camping behind me. That's why I picked this background. That's how I'm feeling.
I totally understand. And Jane, I apologize. I think as I was counting, I missed Region 7.
And this is how it begins, huh, Karen?
Yeah, I'll
Today,
admit I made a mistake.
Today, Don Thompson can't be with us. He's on his way to a medical appointment. And we do have the first vice president, me, Jane Carmichael, and we have second VP, Beth Zelton. Hi, Beth.
Okay, so thank you all again for being here. The current region offices format started in 2010. The purpose of this forum is to give the region officers a chance to discuss all the items anticipated to be discussed at the IBT seminar and meeting prior to that meeting. The forum is generally held 2 to 3 times a year. At the end of the forum, we will vote on whether to continue with the forum or not. If we decide to continue with the forum, we will also select a facilitator for the next meeting. This is an informal discussion, not an IBT meeting. However, please raise your hand to be recognized if you wish to speak or ask a question. Depending on how the discussion progresses, we may ask for a straw vote. The results of the vote are for information only and are non-binding and are intended to give the maker of the motion a feel for what might happen at the IBT meeting. There are 36 region officers, and at this forum, all are considered equal. Remember, there are 12 region presidents on the board, and we represent 63%, or 12 of 19 possible votes on any item brought before the IBT. The outcome of this meeting for all region officers and those observing the meeting is to have a better understanding of the motions coming before the board. We may end up with a new motion, or existing motions may be modified based on the discussion here today. We may make suggestions to the EC to form a special committee or to take other action as appropriate. Are there any questions before we get started? Seeing no hands raised, I did think of one thing, Patty, while you were fumbling to get your mute turned off. If you're working from a computer and you hold down your space bar, that will temporarily unmute you. It's just a quick and easy way rather than trying to find that button on your screen. So we'll start with the motions. I didn't see any particular reason for changing the order of the motions as they were given to us. So we'll start with action item A. This is a change to the bylaws for membership and membership privileges and the policies associated with that. I am not planning to ask the maker of any of the motions to read them. You've all had them for quite a while and hopefully have had a chance to read through them yourselves, note any questions. And so at this time, I open it up for questions or discussion on this motion. Per?
When I read through the material, I thought that as we're introducing the concept of one member, one vote, and we've also tried to diminish the concept of the punished member at large, the verbiage didn't necessarily make that as clear as I would have liked it to be. You know, in some sections we talk about the member and some about membership, and it seems to me like the membership, we have sort of a membership relationship with the central club where we pay dues, and that's sort of the international dues. Then we have a relationship with one or more local clubs. And as going through, you know, each sentence by sentence, we seem to at times talk about the member when in fact it's the membership, or a member at large when it could actually be two members at large in a membership. Tom and I talked about that. He was going to internalize that. Not sure what if anything came of it.
Would you like to speak to that?
Can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Per and I had a rather lengthy discussion about this the other day, and I've read it and reread it, and I'm sorry that I can't see the problem that Per seems to believe is in the document. So let me just see if I can explain it this way. When a person joins WBCCI, they fill out a membership form. And on that membership form, they are asked for the name or names of the individuals who will be a part of that membership. In the past, before the new database that we currently have coming online or is online, in the past, then a big red number was assigned to that membership. That big red number essentially was a voting entity. There was only one vote. However, associated with that membership could be one or two, and as I said to someone the other day, or maybe a ménage à trois relationship where we would have more than one member associated, or more than two members associated with the membership. According to the Ohio Nonprofit Corporate Code, every member of an organization, a nonprofit organization, has a vote. However, because of the way WBCCI was originally set up, with a big red number being the voting entity, as opposed to the members of the particular membership, we had only one vote and still do. The purpose behind this particular motion, amongst other things, is to recognize that each member, as a part of a membership, has a right to vote. We're doing this because we can now individually identify each member in a membership. It is no longer the big red number, which is the identifying number. Rather, there is a unique ID number associated with each and every name associated with every membership. And there's a whole bunch of reasons for that, but it has opened us up to be able to abide by the corporate law for Ohio, and also to actually give the vote to all of the individuals. I don't see that there's confusion between the word membership and member, or member at large, or members at large, but that's kind of the background for that, and I think it's fine the way it's written. I would appreciate if Per has a concern of that he would write out a correction or how he would like to see it, send it to me. We have till the 24th to make any modifications, and we'll kind of go from there. Thank you.
Thank you, Tom.
Okay, any other comments or questions from anyone on this motion? Okay, seeing no hands, I actually have a couple of things, Tom, for you. I wanted to point out, and you did a very good job of explaining in section 3 that it's 1 vote per person, where our original bylaws were 1 vote per membership, whereas you called it per the big red number. In section 4, it says to be eligible to serve as an elected officer of a local club or region or the international club. And I'm going to stop there. The original information also mentioned intra-clubs. Is there a particular reason that you did not include intra-clubs here in section 4?
Yes. Here's the situation. The intra-club, an intra-club, is not regional. An intra-club is international. And we have members at large who are a part of WBCCI and who can join intra-clubs or should be able to join an intra-club, and many do. And this would allow them to become an officer in an intra-club, much the same as we have now. For example, in VAC, the officers of VAC are scattered across the country. They are not in any one particular region.
Okay,
And
you're jumping ahead to my second question, which you didn't even hear yet, but this just says to be eligible to serve as an elected officer of a local club, a region, or the international club. You did not state intra-clubs. I think you should add that to that list somewhere. So it would read to be eligible to serve as an elected officer of the intra-club, local club, a region, or the international club.
okay, we can do that.
Okay. Now it said a person must be a regular member of the international club. In section 2, you states there are 2 types of membership, a regular member and a member at large. This implies that members at large cannot serve in any of those elected positions, either at an intra-club, a region, or at the international club. I suggest you take regular out of that and just say that they must be a member of the international club.
And this was in section 2?
Section 4 still. Section
4.
2 defines there are 2 types of membership.
Right, okay.
One of those types is a regular member. So you say a person must be a regular member of the international club. That implies that members at large cannot serve in any of those positions. If you take regular out and just state they must be a member, then I think we're covered.
Yeah. I'll take care of that. Thank you. Do that when we read it.
Okay. On page 3,
yes,
at the top, item B, it says the sponsors of a national, rally, region. I think rally should be taken out of that. Unless you're going to state national rally, then the comma needs to be taken out.
Actually, that has been done already.
Okay, the comma out or the rally out?
The rally out.
Okay. On page 4, policy international dues, it talks about the fee for members at large. Where is that fee stated? We talk about the local club fees, and we know those vary from club to club for regular members, and we talk about the international dues, but I did not see anywhere
It is not.
stated
It is not, and I have never found it in the bylaws.
Okay, should it be added here?
It could be, yes. It was not in the bylaws, and I did not know the reason why. I did ask a question and could never get an answer from one of the previous CBL chairs, but I can put it in there.
I guess I would prefer that it be there so that all those are upfront to anybody that goes looking for it. My personal preference. On page 5, I believe that there's an extra line in there. Item B, I think, is actually part of A, which would then read letter C, D, and E.
And this is where now?
Page 5.
Yes,
To apply for lifetime membership.
yes.
The copy I downloaded from the website has item A and B, and if you read through that, I believe they should be one item, not two.
Tom, that's what we fixed yesterday.
Yes.
Okay.
It was fixed.
Okay. And then when I was comparing the proposed change with what was there before, the previous information included a policy on membership stars that one gets issued for every 5 years of service. I don't see that listed here at all. Is that going to be added somewhere else?
Are we talking about the stars?
Yep.
Actually, it is someplace else.
Well, you don't have to let me know here, but let me know where.
I don't know, right off the top of my head, I don't
Understand,
know
but would you find out and let me know? I
Yes,
just
I
want
will.
to
Oh,
make
yeah.
sure we don't lose
Right.
that. If
Right.
it's somewhere else, then that's fine. But if not, we need to make sure we don't lose
Yeah,
that.
right.
Okay.
Now, there also,
Go ahead,
there
Tom.
are two other changes which you have not seen. The first one is that there is a proviso which has been attached to this, or will be attached to this particular motion. The proviso reads the following. Proviso, because of the changes in the voting policy associated with this motion, the voting policies will not become effective until, 1, the 2021 voting cycle at both the international and at the local club levels. 2, local clubs have had an opportunity to incorporate the changes in their constitution and bylaws. And 3, local clubs making these changes in their governing documents will not be required to submit the change documents for review by the Constitution and Bylaws Committee until their next compliance cycle. The reason for this is obvious. I think it's fairly obvious that when a bylaw is changed, it becomes effective immediately, which would mean that those clubs which are going to be voting on their club officers later this year would have to comply with that. It's not in their bylaws, and therefore will forestall this until the 2021 voting cycle. And this does not have any effect upon the international election this year because that has already taken place. However, it would be applicable for next year. And the other big issue is I don't want to see 106 Constitution and bylaws drop on my desk a week from now because somebody changed it and they want my approval. I approve, trust me, but I do want to see it in the next compliance issue or compliance submission. All right?
Okay, thank you, Tom. Any other questions or comments from anyone? Okay, hearing none and not having any discussion against this, Tom, I'm not going to go for a straw vote on this. So we'll move on to action item B. This is a change in the bylaws for delegate voting. Are there any comments or questions from anyone?
Karen?
Oh, I do see a hand. Just a second. Let me figure out who's got their hand up. Thank you, Lori. Joe Piplinski.
Hi, am I unmuted?
No, you're okay now. Go ahead, Joe.
Okay, one of your proposed changes creates a problem And I need to point that out rather than let this go forward and have to be fixed later. I'm sorry. I hope I'm not out of order by saying this. But your proposal to take the word regular member out of section 4 would allow a member that's not a member of a unit to be, or local club, to become a officer in that local club. I think that creates an unmanageable situation. Because a non-regular member is a member at large. So a member at large, by definition, doesn't belong to a local club. How could they then be an officer?
Okay, make that last statement again. A regular member what?
A regular member is a member of a local club, as opposed to a member at large that is not a member of a local club. But your proposal or amendment to revise the word, to take the word regular member out of section 4 would allow a member at large to become a officer in a local club, a region, international club and intra-club makes sense totally to me. Region, maybe. Local club makes no sense at all. That a member that's not a member of the local club could be an officer in that.
Tom, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe local somewhere it says, and I don't know where, but it says that to be an officer in a local club, you must be a member of that club. Is that true?
You have to be a regular member of that club, yes.
Okay, so.
Yes.
So this creates a problem, but in reality, there's other rules that prevent it.
Right, and by putting regular in there, then it says that members at large cannot serve in any of those positions. Because in section 2, we defined regular members as those who have joined a local club.
May I make a suggestion? How about
Yes.
if we stick another section in there, or put another section in there that takes care of the member at large as a officer in an intra club, and leave 4 the way it is. I see.
Well, but I would feel that a member at large should also be able to serve as a region officer and/or as an international officer.
I think you would find a lot of opposition to that.
Well, we're finally giving them the right to vote. Now we're going to tell them they can vote, but they can't run for office.
Yes. I mean, I'm perfectly willing to put it in there if you want to go for it, but.
I don't know. I guess that was my thoughts when I read it. Is there comments or thoughts from other people? Eddie?
You know, to be quite honest with you, a few years ago, that was my thinking also. But every time I would try to bounce that idea out there, I would get immediate rejection of it, particularly for, say, an international officer.
Okay, Patty? Patty, just hold down your space bar. Nope, can't hear you.
There we go, it came up. I completely agree with Tom. I really feel strongly that it would be very difficult for somebody to represent the region when they were never part of a local club within that region to know what was going on within the region. International officer is a little different in that it represents everybody. But if you let a member at large become a region officer, they then have to start from the beginning, getting to know all of the units within that region. So I would be against that.
Okay, and I guess I don't know if it's true or not, but I would argue that a member at large may have an opportunity or may take the advantage of visiting lots of local clubs within the region they live at rather than being tied to one local club, and may actually know the local clubs in that region better than other people. Just a thought.
That would be quite the feat, because some of these regions, including Region 11, are huge. And to get around to all of the different units would be quite the feat. It's hard enough for people who have been an officer in a club.
Okay. Brad, I see you have your hand up. Brad Briggs?
Yes, I agree with Patty to a point. I'm not worried about them not knowing people. What I worry about is how the organization runs. Experience.
Brad, you broke up a little bit, at least for me in that. So if you would repeat that last bit, I know.
My concern would be a member at large would not have the experience of being an officer at a local level, running rallies, that kind of thing. That would be my concern.
Okay. Pear?
I agree with Patty. I think it's, I mean, we respect people who wish not to be affiliated with a local club, but in some ways, by becoming a region officer, you are becoming affiliated with the geography, and it makes total sense to say that your home is in this region, and now you're going to represent it. And you can relate to people in that region because you're actually an active participant and volunteer in that region.
Okay. Lori, just quick, can you tell me what percentage of our members are members at large?
We have over 500, probably close to 600 right now.
So approximately 10%, not quite 10%.
And actually, since in the last 6 years, that group has been growing significantly from when I first started. Maybe we had a couple hundred people appear to like to at least start there, get their feet wet in the club, and then join a local club.
Okay, thank you. I just want us all to be aware that we're talking not quite 10% of our membership. Mike Sisk?
Yeah, here I am. Yeah, I'm against that as well. Excuse me. To be in a local club, you've got to pay dues. If you're now an officer of a local club or region, does that mean you need to start paying dues to somebody? And then your club size could decrease if there's no feeling that I don't need to be a member of a club. I can be a member at large. And, that could be the demise of a lot of clubs, losing people to becoming members at large.
Okay, I want to point out or remind everyone, if I understood you correct, Mike, that members at large do pay an additional $20 fee for being a member at large. So that's comparable to what a regular member would pay to their local club.
So would that $20 then be transferred to the local club?
No.
Okay.
That money is kept by headquarters and is used to offset the things that they might do for a member at large that normally a local club would do. But the point is they do pay two parts to their fee.
Okay.
Okay. Bob Caldwell under the attendees has his hands up. Can you invite Bob to speak, please?
Hi there. Can you hear me?
Yes, Bob, go ahead.
There are 2 or 3 members who have texted me and said they're in a waiting queue and they wanted to listen, but they're in the queue and aren't able to listen. So I thought I'd bring that to somebody's attention.
Were they supposed to be part of the attendee?
I don't know. I don't know how that works.
Okay.
So I just thought I'd let you know.
Okay, thanks, Bob. Can you tell me their names?
Well, one is Ernie Bauer, and I don't know the others.
Okay. Barb, is Ernie part of our invitees, or should he be listening through YouTube?
He should be listening through YouTube, but we're working on that right now. We're having a little bit of trouble getting it up.
Okay. So, Bob, if you will just let them know that the YouTube is available for them, although we are having a couple of problems, but they should keep trying to join the meeting that way.
I will, thank you.
Yep, thank you. Okay, Laverne?
So this members at large cannot run for a region officer position. So someone who wants to run for a region officer position, they're a member at large, So by a click of a couple of buttons, they can join a local club and then run? Is that what we're saying?
That would be correct. That's what everybody
So
suggested.
it's just a matter of clicking a button, paying, in our case, you know, the 15, 25 bucks, in addition, or I guess we prorate it, you know, with the members at large extra fee. I don't know how we do that, but so all they would have to do is pay that extra dollar amount and then still run? Is that what we're saying?
Generally, as I understand it, if a member wants to either transfer from member at large to a local club or transfer between local clubs, their regular membership, they contact headquarters. And I don't know if that's going to be something that they can do themselves in the new database or if they still have to go through headquarters. But the membership is then, the records are transferred or updated to show that. However, fees are not transferred between clubs for that particular year. The next year, when they re-up their membership, they would then pay dues to their local club, wherever they have chosen to make that final membership list. Lori, do you
Okay,
want to add to that?
well, but regardless of the financials, so say someone is a member at large, they've paid they're paid, they're up to date, they want to run as a region officer. All they need to do is click on a local club, join that local club, and then they can be an officer. Correct. Or they can run for an officer.
Correct.
So is that what we're discussing? Is we just want them to join a local club within, I mean, it seems that we're defeating the purpose here, right?
Could I jump in here?
Yes, Tom.
I think that the issue is not that they joined a local club, but they are active in a local club. They're active in a region. They know something about what goes on in a local club, as opposed to being a member at large who participates in activities sponsored by local clubs or international or whatever the case might happen to be. I think part of the rationale, as I have understood it, is that a regular member is a person who is much more familiar with the culture of the club than a member at large, who is simply partaking in activities. Thank you.
Okay. Laverne, yes, I guess to answer your question, or if I understand it, yes, a person could get around it by just quickly joining a local club. Yep, Lori, I see your hand, just a minute. But they, as Tom would say, don't have that background or that experience with either what goes on in a local club and or at the region level. And as somebody pointed out, I think it was Joe Kaplinski, that they may not have experience organizing or running rallies. So that's the comment there.
Yes, I understand that, but my question or what I'm asking of the group is that if we write it in there that a member at large cannot run for a region position, and our rationale is that they don't have the experience, that we don't have anything in writing that says that, right? We are not preventing it by saying you cannot run. Anyone can run as long as they become a member of that club, that region.
That would be correct. There's nothing
Okay.
that they have to be active or have experience.
Correct. And our rationale of not having experience and not knowing the region or the club for that matter really is vetted through our voting and not necessarily what we have documented here. Correct?
Yes, I would hope
Okay.
that a region and or as an international club, we would look at the experience of the person running and choose accordingly if we have a
Okay.
choice.
Thank you. I just wanted to clarify that our rationale really has a lot of holes in it in that case.
Okay. Lori, you had your hand up, and then I also see a couple people on the attendees list and back to the panelists. So Lori, do you want to add?
Yeah, I just want to make a comment on the dues. So if a member at large has a $15 dues, so if they join, we will transfer that to a local club depending upon how long it's been. Normally within 90 days, we will go ahead and transfer it to that local club. If it's been 10 months, no, we won't. So I just want to make sure everybody understood that $15 we collect, we will send on to the local clubs. If there's a difference in dollar amount of dues, that's between the member and that local club. Just FYI.
Okay. Okay, and then if they transfer between local clubs, you let the local clubs work out if there's any money transferred or not.
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you for that clarification. Richard, short?
So my question would be, why do we even have a member at large category? Why don't all people who join the club join a local unit? Find the region that you're in, find a local club, and join your local club. If you don't like that club, well, you can always bow out, find another one that's more to your liking, or join multiple as associate members. But we creating a problem by having two classes of members. If you join a local club, problem goes away. A member at large up until that point really doesn't contribute, and I'm not being derogatory, I'm just stating a fact that if they're not involved in a local club, they're not contributing to the culture and overall well-being of the organization. They certainly have the benefits. Many go on caravans, can attend the international, do a variety of other things. And I feel that by choice, they're choosing a member at large for a variety of reasons. Maybe there's not a local club close by. Maybe they don't want to be involved, a variety of things. But I think by having two classes of membership, we create a lot of other problems that could be alleviated by saying, join the club, you join a local. I would also say that I think that the member at large population will grow because the new website is a wonderful magnet for drawing people who are interested in Airstreaming, don't have much of a clue about the family aspect or the friendship aspect of the club. Join the club, hit member at large, boom, I'm in. And that's that. So I would argue, is it time to start considering not having a member at large? Thank you.
Okay, Lori, let me ask, I know you said approximately, or not quite 10% of our members are members at large. What percentage of those that join as members at large would you say transfer over to a local club within the first year?
I don't know. I mean, we don't track that, but
okay.
Just a couple things. We can get people to join the club quicker by offering the member at large for several reasons. One, they don't feel committed. Two, some of our local clubs have issues on welcoming people. It's been a huge turnoff. Some of our newbies, if they go and they don't like the way the structure of the club is, they're almost guilted into not wanting to change clubs. That's one of the big things. You know, Mark Neidham is a huge asset to the HQ, and he's a member at large. I know Vicki Courtney and Jim Courtney that both contribute tremendously. They started their journey in the club as members at large almost 10 years before they found their group that they wanted to stick with. So I think by pigeonholing, making these new people pick a club, we're going to lose more than gain. Again, some of these folks have no idea what we're about. So again, our verbiage that we use people here is it's a shopping tool. That's my
Okay.
2 cents.
Very good. I want to point out in Region 4, when we get the membership report every month or however frequently it comes out, we encourage all of our local clubs to reach out to new members that are members at large in their area and invite them to a rally or a breakfast or whatever they've got going on, so those members at large have an opportunity to learn about the local clubs and to decide if they want to join them or not. It has been actually very beneficial for our Lakes to River, Ohio Airstream Club. They've actually picked up a couple of new members that way. So, all right, I'm going to John Holly in the attendee list. And while you're inviting John to join, I do see both Patty and Pear have their hands up. You had one opportunity to speak. I'm going to hold off and let others speak first. So I do see you, but don't think I'm ignoring you.
Thank
so
you,
John
Karen.
Holly.
Can everyone hear me?
Yes, go ahead, John.
I agree with what Lori just said. I'm currently in Colorado at a beautiful campsite near Vallecito Lake. And over the last 5 weeks, I've come in contact with 3 full-timers. And I think that Lori's suggestion about Vicky and Jim is apropos, in that I've tried to recruit these people. And the reason they say they don't want to join a local club right now is that they're traveling all over the country. They travel with the weather. So they're going north during the summer and south during the winter, and they have not connected to a specific club. So I recommended that they join a club, but they've put it off because they want to have that freedom because they don't know about the clubs yet. Unlike maybe Jim and Vicky, who have found a club, but it took them 10 years to find something. So I think to do away with the member at large category would be a mistake. Thanks.
Okay. So Patty.
It was my understanding, this discussion has been going on for years, probably for as long as I've been in this club. And it was my understanding in the beginning that members at large were to eventually find their home unit, that they became members at large because they didn't know where they wanted to be. And in my travels, like John, we're all over the place with the trailer, and I'm always trying to recruit people. The biggest answer I hear in people who are in the club but that are members at large is that they do not want to join a local club because they don't want to be an officer. They don't want to do rallies. They don't want to give luncheons. They don't want to have any responsibility. I understand what Lori is saying about getting them into the club, but I've always been a proponent of having a limit on how long you can be a member at large. A year, 2 years, let them travel, let them find a home base or find another category. But if the numbers just keep growing as members at large, it takes away the workforce. Then we don't have people in units volunteering for offices or volunteering to run rallies or lunches. As more and more don't take responsibility, the local units are just going to fade away. That's it.
Okay. Pear?
I agree with Patty. In some ways, the club, it's difficult if the club turns into a transactional entity, like people go into KOA. When you leave, you're done. You have no commitment whatsoever. And to be a volunteer in many ways in the club is associated with being part of a tribe that you. And I think the member at large category serves a great purpose because not everybody can find their tribe right away. And we made it very hard to do that these days because you can pick a name, but you pick a club based on a name, you think it sounds good. You have really no idea. So I see the member at large mainly as a transitional membership in the club, but over time, we want to coach them into a regular membership in some club. And for that reason, we also want to send the right message when somebody signs up to be a region officer. They should promote the idea that you should find a tribe. And you're not you're helping a bigger tribe now in your geography, and being a member of somebody local to that region sends a good message. Now, I understand it's different at the international level, but at the region, I think it is a good thing to be a member of a local club. And what's so hard about picking a club? I mean, if you're so averse to the idea of picking a local club, well, maybe you shouldn't be a region officer, because you're taking sides there too. You're in this region, not in that region. That's it.
Thank you, Per. Mark Nijam on the attendee list.
All right. I really appreciate all the honest talk. As a member at large, I both agree and disagree with what you guys have been talking about so far. I think I agree with the fact that I, as a member at large, probably shouldn't be able to run for a local club officer or a regional club officer role, because I'm not involved in any of them. And yes, I have my own reasons for not being a member, for not picking a local club, because I'm never local enough. So I would never be able to contribute enough to a single local club to actually be useful. And we see more and more of those with all the members, as John was mentioning, the full-time remoters that are just not in an ear long enough to be helpful to a local region or club. That said, I do think that the members at large are their own tribe. We just don't have a venue for them to be able to be one as part of this club, and that's both frustrating and also an opportunity to do better. Right? Why can't a member at large have it? And I think this may have come up before. Why can they have their own unit? We actually tried to try to figure out whether we can create some chapter or something that would be a group of members at large, so they could have their own get-togethers in their own way that is different from the traditional local club that is region bound. And so I would just wanted to bring that up as a discussion point as somebody that is both a member at large and somebody that's in love with this club and wants to serve it in some way, and just can't beyond trying to be as computer friendly as I can be.
Okay, thank you, Mark. Per, unless you want to speak again, would you please lower your hand? Okay, I want to point out that, and I've let this discussion wander a little bit. We've talked about the benefits or drawbacks of member at large. The true issue at this point is that must be a regular member, and this is back to action item A, section 4. I had asked Tom to take regular member out of that, defining who can run for offices. Based on discussion here, there's a wide variety of feelings on this. Tom, I'm going to, unless somebody objects, and if you object, please raise your hand. Tom, I'm going to let you decide whether you want to leave that in or take it out. We can address it as an amendment to the motion when it's presented on Wednesday, if we so choose. Or if you prefer, we can take a straw vote now, Tom, to give you an idea of the feelings of this group. Would you provide your preference, please?
Well, I thought that the issue that we were confronted with was the intra-club, and whether a member at large could be a member or be an officer in intra-club. And I have a solution for that. I'm not inclined to remove the word regular from section 4, but I do see your concern, and I'm willing to address that.
Okay, well, I had two concerns. One was that the intra-clubs weren't mentioned, and you did provide an option for that. The second one is that males can't serve on region or as an international officer. So if you leave regular in, that will continue to be true. If you take regular out, then they would be able to serve in those areas. So again, you're saying you're going to add a statement that allows members at large to be officers in intra-clubs, but if I heard you correctly, you're going to leave regular member in as a requirement to be a region officer or a international officer.
Correct. I think that was the consensus of the group here, so.
Okay. Again, if you disagree with that, we can bring it up as an item on at the meeting on Wednesday and make an amendment to the motion if you so desire. And if you need to know more about how to make that happen, please if that's something you want to do, get in touch with me and I'll help you through that process. So, anything else on action item A? Seeing no hands, I'm going to move on to action item B. It started, but didn't get very far on. We went back. So action item B is a amendment to the bylaws regarding delegate voting. Are there any comments or questions on this proposal, on this motion? Okay, I don't see any, but I do have a question for Tom as I read through it. On page 2, item C at the top says the votes shall be expressed in whole numbers. The previous or the current bylaw allows for exact half votes. You're saying we shouldn't do that? And if somebody's numbers come out to an exact half vote, which way do they round?
Numbers should be in whole numbers. In other words, if you have 5 people in a local club, 10 actually, minimum number, and all 10 of them vote, you have 10 votes. How would you get a half a vote? The only way you could get a half a vote is if in the previous, there was an argument between husband and wife, and you would end up with a half a vote.
No, there wasn't.
Or because we do proportional voting, you end up with when you do a percentage, you should round the percentage up to a whole number, and it should create a whole number.
This actually happened in a club in Region 4. They took their votes. They took the votes and turned them into percentages, and when they applied that percentage to their membership, they came up with an exact half vote. And I don't remember which international it was at. I remember the president, but I don't remember which international it was at. So I'm just asking, and if I understand what you're trying to get to, I think the math can work out to exact half votes, and my only question is if it's an exact half vote. Some people say you round up, some people say you round down, some people say round even, some people say you round odd. We just need to know what that is.
Well, in the real world, there's, in California, there's something like, I don't remember, last count was 27 million voters. If only half of them vote, we don't proportionally vote against the, compute the vote based on the 27. I don't like the proportional voting. I never have liked it. I think if you are going to be a member of an organization, you should take an interest in that organization, and you ought to vote when there is a vote. If you don't vote, we don't count your vote. But that's my personal opinion. I'm not going to try to change WBCCI. They want it this way, that's the way it's going to be. But I don't want to see percentage votes or half votes if possible. So whole numbers.
Well, we currently have percentage voting.
Correct.
And I'm saying the way the math works out, even with percentage voting and members in a club, local club, you can come up with an exact half.
Correct.
And you're saying we're not going to do that, and then I understand that. I don't have a real problem with that one way or the other. My question is, we need to have, I believe, a process or a plan for if that half comes out exact, how does that local club president round that to a whole number?
I'd suggest flipping a coin, but that's my take.
I don't think that's a good way.
No, it's just I'm trying to simplify the process, so a whole number is what we put in there.
Okay, I just want you all to think about that. But okay, any other comments or questions from anyone? Seeing no hands, I'm going to move on to the next action item C. This is a bylaw change regarding financial management. Are there any comments or questions on this one? I don't see any hands up. Tom, I want to make one comment under the proposal. It's, I believe community service should be capitalized. Family and Youth Committee is capitalized. Community service should be capitalized as well.
Okay.
I know these are
Done.
going by how they're read, but I also know that they use what's the written word is to help make the updates. So
I will give Vicki the corrected copy.
okay, thank you. Action item D.
Karen, did you not
Yes.
see my hand?
I'm sorry, it came up after I looked away. I apologize. Go ahead, Cecilia.
That's okay. I had a question under section 4 would then read, for some reason, any donation from a religious service collection will be the responsibility of the collectors. He separated it out instead of including it with the total. And I just wondered what the purpose of that was, why he separated out the religious service collection and not include it with the whole.
Because it's the responsibility of the person who, of whichever religious group is collecting money to distribute that money, not the club.
Has it always been that way?
It has not always been that way. I don't know. I can't answer that question. I have no idea.
So why are we changing it?
Why are we changing it? No, we're not changing it. We're defining it. Let's say we have 3 different religious groups that want to have some sort of a religious service associated with the international rally. Their monies are collected, but their particular service, they distribute their own monies. It's not the club that's collecting that money. The club is collecting the community services money, family and youth, etc. But we're not collecting the religious services money.
Okay, so what you're saying is that what they collect in the offering at any religious service that's held during the international, each of those persons can go to any charity and donate it. It doesn't have to be the charity chosen by the rally.
That's correct.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, are there any other comments or questions? And if it looks like I'm looking away, so you all know, I have another screen that has all the participants, and that's where I see if hands are raised. So I'm not ignoring you. I'm just trying to make sure I don't miss any hands. Okay, next is action item D. This is a change to the bylaws regarding the use of the club name and emblem. Are there any comments, questions on this item?
Cecilia.
Cecilia?
There we go, I'm unmuted. This is just, I'm sorry, Tom, I missed this one yesterday when we had our long conversation on all my little picky changes and grammatical things. The secretary was at work. In section 8, under the 3rd sentence, these approved local club logos are not the same as the official WBCCI emblems. Then there's a parenthetical phrase, but you never put a period after the parenthetical phrase to end the sentence.
Done.
Thank you.
Thank you, Cecilia.
For those of you who are not aware, I have about 5 wives that try to check my grammar and my spelling. And it's, yeah, sometimes they even miss things.
Okay, are there any other comments or questions on this item? Okay, moving on to action item E regarding policy on Airstream numbers. Are there any comments or question on this one? Joe Peplinski?
Okay, oh, you unmuted me this time. Thank you. I just want to provide a little background. I worked as the historical committee with Tom and others. Mona was involved, Lori at the office was involved, Joanne was involved, to try to get the final wording of this. The historical committee is behind this motion, and it really implements what was seen as a step towards the original heritage concept that was presented way back at Escanaba. And we were advised to hold off until the other database and membership questions got resolved. So this was the time to come back to this topic. Effectively, this does similar to what a motion that was approved in Escanaba did that allowed the family members of early members that were on historic caravans to be assigned their parents' family number. This allows owners of heritage airstreams to get that number, which now that we're going to have a new process to have an easy way to have multiple numbers for membership, because your membership number won't be your what is called airstream number. This makes sense. We can continue to display these historic trailers with the numbers on them that were in all the pictures when they were on these famous airplanes. So I just hope that people will support the concept.
Okay, are there any comments or questions from anyone else? Okay, I see no hands. We'll go forward with this one then. Action item F is a motion regarding the annual membership directory, changing the deadline for membership renewal from November 30th to December 31st, and also the publication of the membership directory will be in February instead of in January. Are there any comments or questions on this one? Cecilia?
Yes, I had a question under policy 12.4.1B, section 1. It talks about the updates will be available digitally online. So does that mean that we will have to have internet access, go online to the WBCCI site, and look at the directory? I don't know about the rest of you, but I have the directory that used to be sent to us, and we downloaded it on our iPhones. And when I pass trailers, or when I see a trailer in a campground, I can immediately go to my phone, punch that up, even if I only have a little bit of, I mean, I have to have a couple of cells, tower, things on my phone, but I can go right to it and find the name and number of somebody, and I don't have to go through the whole website. Does that mean that will no longer be possible?
In my discussion with the office, it was my understanding that the directory would be available in a digital form and it would be downloadable, and Lori can correct me on that if need be.
Lori?
Thank you. Yeah, so when the new self-service portal launches, those members that are logged in will have access, up to the minute access of what's going on in our database. So you can still download that information and then have it on your phone or wherever you want it. So it's going to be actually more up to date than what we've been doing recently. Does that make sense?
Okay, so yeah, so we'll be able to take that document, download it onto my iPhone.
Yeah,
with
it's
Eric
going to be,
McKinney's
it
help.
won't be, currently, this first rollout, it probably will not be in a PDF format, it'll be in the Excel. But if you're able to look at that, if you have a couple bars on your phone, there's really no reason you shouldn't be able to get to our website and look for who you're looking for. You will be able to
I'm
look
just
by
saying
name,
it's,
you'll be able to look by number, there are multiple reasons that you can look.
Okay, I just wanted, because I use that, I use it frequently. So I just wanted to make sure that that was going to be available in some format that I can easily get to, instead of going through all the, I don't find the new, I'm learning, but I struggle still, and Eric knows this, with the new website. It's, I'm not finding it search friendly. So possibly I'm putting in the wrong information, but so I just wanted to make sure. So that sounds like it is going to be easy. So I'm good.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Are there any other comments or questions from anyone? Okay, seeing none, we'll move on to action item F. This is, oops, wrong one. I'm sorry. Action item G is next. This is a change in the policy for international rallies regarding cash and non-cash gifts to the communities. Is there any comments or questions from anyone on this item? I see no hands. So next is action item H. This is a change to or a motion to change all references to units or unit/clubs to local clubs in the bylaws and policies. A similar motion was presented to the delegates to change that wording in the Constitution as well. Is there any comments or questions from anyone on this item? Okay, I see none. My only comment is it's easy to change the words on paper. Now we all have to train ourselves to refer to our local clubs and units as local clubs. Action item I. Thank you, Tom. That was the end of your motions. We appreciate all the work you do for the club with the Constitution and bylaws. I know it's not everybody's favorite thing to even look something up in.
Oh, come on.
Hey, I use it a lot. That's just me, but I know other people say, really?
The new form is so easy.
It is easier. It
Yes.
just, I knew where to look before, and now I got to retrain myself. So next is action item A. This one is being presented by Joe Piplinski from the Historical Committee. Yes.
Richard, did you still have your hand up? Richard Short had his hand up.
Thank you. I wanted to know, Laura, if you had an idea of how many of our local clubs still have not changed over to Airstream Club in their name. In other words, how many remain that have not changed over?
Yeah, there still are, but I would say maybe 30% have not. And that's just off the top of my head, Rich. Majority of them have already changed. I know a year ago we were at 64. I think we have 106. We've had some changes then. So I'd say maybe 30% haven't moved over, but I also know some are in the works as we speak. So.
Yeah, it's close to 66% at the moment, the last time I counted. And I do know that there are some more changes coming down the road, so.
I find it's hard. Sometimes it's a little hard to push the, I'm having trouble anyway, pushing the locals to change their name. I still have a few that are reticent to change over, and I don't understand why. I just wanted to know what the trend was. So thank you.
Okay, are there any other comments or questions? Please remember to use your raise hand button. Don't wave at me. I got two screens of people now, so I can't look at everybody at the same time. Okay, now moving on to action item I. This is a change in the policy regarding the general duties of the Historical Standing Committee. Part of it is a formatting change to how those duties are listed, and the rest of it is a change to allow them to loan items from the archives as they feel appropriate without going through EC approval. Are there any comments or questions on this item?
I'm here to answer questions if there are any. We did this at the request of the executive committee when I wanted to donate or loan some items for the opening of the Heritage Center. And they suggested rather than having to request that each time we wanted to loan something or donate, because there's some things in our archives that really more belong with Airstream or quite frankly that don't have any club relationship at all. Just to be able to manage the content in the archives makes sense. I know that past historians have purged items in the past. There was really never any official policy on that. So this just kind of closes the loop on that.
Okay, thank you, Joe. Any other comments or questions from anyone? Okay, seeing none. We do have some of the committee chairs online, standing committee chairs online. Are there any questions or comments for any of the standing committee chairs or interclub presidents regarding their reports? We will have an opportunity to ask those questions again at the meeting. But if there's a question or clarification needed at this point, I want to give you a chance to bring that up. Tom Smithson.
I just wanted to make an observation that there's another IBT meeting on the 27th, and that I do have a motion, just one, guys, just one, which is relatively straightforward. If action item A is passed on the 24th and action item B is passed on the 24th, and A, B, C, D, F, G, H is passed, then the model constitution and bylaws is going to have to be modified. Actually, it has been modified, and it has been submitted to the office for approval on June 27th. I would appreciate it. It will be sent out to you. That if you have an opportunity to look at it, there are no major changes. I have annotated it significantly to try and make it easier for people to construct their own constitution and bylaws. And I've also taken care of the changes for the voting. It's in there, and new language for that. So if you could take a look at it, if you have any problems with it, before the 27th, I would appreciate it if you would get back to me. Thank you.
Thank you, Tom. Any other comments or questions from anyone? Okay, seeing none, we do have some time left in our schedule. If there are any other general topics of interest to regions that you would like to bring up at this time for discussion, I'm open for that. Cecilia.
Yeah, I'm just wondering how the other regions are doing with all the closures. Have your clubs lost money? I know a lot of the region rallies have been canceled. So far, ours is on. It looks like it's a go with modifications to the rally. Split dinners so that we don't have as many people. In fact, we're sold out at 100 sites. So that's a good thing. I'm just kind of would like a feel for how, I think our job as region officers is to keep in contact and see if there's suggestions or things that you've done to help the other clubs deal with all of this. I thought this might be a good chance to quickly hear from anybody that's had a particular problem and how they've solved it, or how they've solved losses in deposits and things like that. I just thought it was a good idea for us to maybe share. This has been a very difficult time for our club in particular because we should be traveling right now. we should be in Loveland right now. So that's just, you know, I'm fortunate. My clubs have had to cancel a whole lot of things, but so far I do have a region rally coming up that I'm hoping will happen. So.
Okay, Pear?
There. So here in Region 1, we've had a rolling wave of cancellations, basically. The region rally was in May, which is was so much in the middle of everything that it was just not practical to host it. I'm not aware of any of the clubs that have lost money. We're trying to stay in touch with Zoom, virtual happy hours, and people really enjoy that. And I can see that the wave of cancellations is pushing out maybe 2-3 months. So there are definitely items on the schedule. I just don't know if the rallies are going to be held or not. I don't think anyone knows. We're hoping. That's where we are.
Okay, anyone else? Richard?
Yeah, we just got notice that our Pennsylvania state rally, which was scheduled for September, they've decided to cancel. So our problems in Region 2 are being extended. People are still not comfortable. Their attendance sign-ups are down. So even though they are in later months, they're not getting as much interest as they need to push it forward. So the New Jersey State Rally is typically held at Jersey Shore Haven, the Airstream Park. That's closed down, so there will be no New Jersey State Rally and now no Pennsylvania State Rally. Local clubs, as far as I know, some are holding, some in July. Watchung has one in August still on the books. It was scheduled around the Dutchess County Fair in New York, which has been canceled. So now we don't know if the interest will hold to go camping in August with that central theme of it being canceled. So we're a difficult region here in 2, as is Per in 1. Still a lot of rolling lockdowns just coming around. So that's where we are.
Patty?
There we go. I'm on my iPad. I don't know if that makes a difference. Region 11, 3 of the units, the Colorado unit, the Utah, local club, the Colorado local club, the Utah local club, and Four Corners local club are all having rallies, but they're doing them very different. They're not having any social functions, no planned meals. It's basically what we call out here an unrally. So if anybody was coming to the Colorado area anyway, regardless of the international being canceled, look up the Colorado, Utah, and Four Corners units, local clubs, and they are having activities.
Okay, thank you. Bard Fuller? Bard, you need to unmute yourself.
Okay. As Region 1 chairman for the region rally, we did lose some monies on this past year on advertising, but we got most of our monies back for the deposits. So that's been good. I think our biggest problem now is projecting out to 2021, and we're getting a reluctance from the fairgrounds of whether we can even sign contracts at this point for 2021. Not knowing whether we even will have a virus antidote for this, a vaccine or whatever it might be. So there's a lot of apprehension in that regard.
Okay, thank you, Bard. Mike Sisk?
Here I am. Okay, our region rally obviously was canceled in April. I had to write a email actually to the governor requesting full refunds on everybody's campground registrations, and I got a real nice email back and a full refund for everybody. The Greater Ozarks unit has canceled their rallies the rest of the year, September and October. And I want to remind everybody my challenge to you, each region. Please remember to submit your contribution figures by July the 15th. I'll try to get something in the Blue Beret. And I think I've got 3 or 4 local clubs or units have already given me some figures, and we're at nearly $5,000 from those few clubs. So appreciate that and everybody's support. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. From Region 4, we did lose a little bit of money on the region rally. When I talked to the fairgrounds early on, they were going to charge us the deposit, so I didn't say anything. We waited till the state required that things be canceled, and then they contacted me and they did give us a refund. So some of it, I think, is based on timing. Region 4 had planned to sponsor a caravan from Region 4 to Loveland. We did not receive back all of the deposits for reservations that had been made, and rather than pass that cost on to our members that had signed up for that, we did make up that difference with region funds. So we're out a little bit on the region rally. We're out a little bit because of the caravan we had planned. However, I have not heard back from any clubs if they are out monies for things that they have canceled. They have not shared that with me, at least at this point. We did have to cancel the Swiss Festival rally in September. Fred, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that's more because the city canceled the Swiss Festival than because we canceled the rally associated with that. So, and I don't know financially what that's going to mean to us yet. That is a separate fund, and that rally is sponsored by one of our local clubs. So I don't know that we know yet on that one. That was just a recent development. Any other comments or questions for anyone regarding cancellation of rallies? Jim Johnson?
Okay, so the Region 6 rally for mid-October is still on for now. The campground and I agreed that about mid-August we would decide whether it was going to go or not. Unfortunately, we got 2 states involved, Mississippi and Louisiana, and that's going to mean that either one of them could cancel it if they wanted to cancel groups. So right now we're holding off, but my honest opinion is it doesn't look very good that we're going to have it. Most big organizations have already canceled everything.
Do you expect to be out any money when you have to cancel that? Jim?
Through October that I know of, but demand for yeah, you broke up a little bit. Say that again.
I said, do you expect to be out any money if they should decide to cancel, or if you decide to cancel?
No, what we did this year was people send the form in, but no money. And that way we have enough in the region funds to carry the overhead, you know, catering deposits and that kind of thing until people get there and pay in person. And that was to keep the amount of expense, you know, cancel. Right now, I don't have any non-refundable activities on the books yet. And
okay.
So, but we're still 3.5 months out. So,
yep.
You know.
Okay, thank you, Jim. I want to point out, I mentioned that Region 4 incurred some expenses based on the cancellation. I mentioned the fairgrounds, we didn't, but it was entertainment. There was a clause in the contract with the entertainment that they required a certain percentage of the contracted amount should they cancel. I have been in negotiations with them on that. So hopefully it won't be the full amount on the contract, but we're still working through that. But I do expect that we will owe them something. Jay Thompson, would you please allow Jay to speak?
Okay. I was going to update you on where we are with the caravans as far as deposits and money. So far, we ran 3 caravans early. All 3 had to stop early. Since then, we have canceled everything. We have 2 caravans left that will maybe run. The one that goes up in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan and the Southeast. Both of those are in October. And we have a good chance of running both of those. As you may or may not know, the caravan organization is self-supporting. Everyone that goes on a caravan for the past 20-some years has contributed to the quote caravan fund. That caravan fund had built itself up to about $53,000. And we pay for getting our income tax done, for providing flags for caravan leaders. And this year, what we are doing is the caravan fund is paying for the deposits that we are not getting returned from activities, campgrounds, etc. So far, we have spent a little, it's in my report, but it's a little bit over $25,000 in non-refundable deposits. My expectation is that we're probably going to spend almost all of it before we get done. And what we will then be implementing starting next year is some various ways of supplementing and rebuilding that fund. And the people that go on the caravans will be doing that. So there'll be a number of different things that we're going to be doing. We're going to go to a uniform cancellation fee, and that cancellation fee would go to the caravan fund. We are going to implement an administrative fee to sign up for a caravan, and that'll go to the caravan fund. And then we have increased on a percentage basis what each individual going on the caravan will pay. And that depends upon what the kitty fee is for that, that caravan. And those range from basically $35 a rig to a cap of $100 a rig, depending on the kitty fee cost of the caravan. Our expectation is that we'll build that fund back up in 3 to 5 years, depending on how many people go on the caravans. And based on what's happened this year, we're probably going to try to build that fund up to in the vicinity of $75,000. Just want you to know that in the past, the folks that have gone on the caravans that built that fund, it's a good thing we've got it. Because what we are doing is everyone that was signed up for a caravan and paid their kitty fees will receive 100% of the funds that they had deposited, as long as they hadn't canceled. And so now in most cases, people are saying, just sign me up for next year. And we're on the assumption that we assume we're going to be running caravans next year. And it may, although in many cases we've not made firm reservations, but luckily the majority of activities and caravan and campgrounds have said, yep, we'll just take your money and put it on next year. And so from that standpoint, we're doing well. It's been pretty traumatic for caravan leaders trying to decide whether or not to cancel, when to cancel, wanting to keep their folks going that are safe. And as many caravan leaders are telling me, it's more trouble trying to cancel a caravan than it is trying to run a caravan. But we're still very hopeful and very positive. The glass is half full; it's not half empty. But we're planning on surviving. And so that's an update of what's going on in the caravan business.
Thank you, Jay. And thank you to all the work you do and all of your caravan leaders as well. Cecilia, I do see you have your hand up. I've got Bob Caldwell and then John Holly before I come back to you if you don't mind waiting. So we'll start with Bob Caldwell.
Okay, just a little, do you have anybody still from Region 10 there?
Is anyone from Region 10 on? Would you please raise your hand? I don't see anyone, Bob.
Okay, well, just a quick thing there. The region rally, which was to be in July, has been canceled. Don't believe any loss of funds happened. They're going to try and do it next year. So that one seems to be kind of a wash that way. As far as the Sun Valley Jazz and Music Festival rally, it is still a go according to the organizers. So we are continuing to accept registrations, and we have about only five at this point in time. So that's just a quick update on that one.
Thank you, Bob. John Holly.
Yes, as entertainment chair for the International Rally, we had to cancel 4 contracts, and 2 of which had a non-refundable deposit. I was able to negotiate with one of the groups to get half that deposit back, which pleased us. And the other one was a $1,500 non-refundable deposit, and that person actually has applied that deposit to the Lebanon rally in 2021. So a full year later, and so we're not out that money. We've been able to apply that. So we got off pretty well regarding entertainment. Thanks.
Very good. Thank you, John. Cecilia?
Yes, this is back to Mike Sisk's comment on the challenge that he had. I just want to do a shout out to the other regions as you still have some time. I had 1 unit in my region. It's not the biggest unit in my region. Raised $3,753. So anyway, I just wanted to brag about the South Coast California Airstream Club. They did a smash up job. They have a great president. I would love to snag this lady for region at some point because she did a really good job. She gave the units. This is a suggestion to some of the region officers if you haven't heard from any units. She said, pick your favorite. South Coast unit is spread around Southern California. So they said a local club, a local charity that's helping with the pandemic or has been hurt financially by the pandemic. I suggest you just locally contribute, not through our treasurer, but they just locally contributed and then sent their report in to her. And then she sent me the total. So they have this huge long list of charities that they contributed to. But I'm just really proud of them. And it's a suggestion for any of you that still have time to suggest that to your local units, just contribute something locally. You know, Bob and I have extra money because we saved, probably $2,000 not going to Loveland. So, and of course, we've rolled over our money. Our caravan's been canceled, but we rolled it over. So we didn't save that money. But anyway, we have some extra cash now. So that's just my shout out. Thanks.
Thank you, Cecilia. Tom Smithson?
Get myself unmuted there. Just an observation for this coming year. I would suggest that anyone who's looking at contracting for anything, any kind of a service, whatever, that you look carefully at your contracts and the non-refundable portions of it and see if you can't negotiate something in there for cancellation as a result of state or federal action. I just think that that's fair on both sides. It's fair on the side of the contractee and the contractor. And I would just highly recommend that you attempt to do that. It might, in the end, save some money. Thank you.
Thank you, Tom. Jane Carmichael?
All right, I think I unmuted.
You are. Go ahead.
Thank you. Region 7 rally was canceled and rescheduled. There was no money lost. We rolled over everything to 2021. Now the 2021 rally had a deposit, and so we'll have to either grab that deposit or use it for 2022. The 57 campsites were rolled over at the same rate, and right now there's no money lost. So I think we jumped on it, canceled soon enough, and Region 7 will be fiscally fine because we jumped on it early enough.
Good for you, Jane. Thanks. Anyone else, any comments to share on this topic? Okay, let's see. We've got about 20 minutes left. I have just a couple of things, won't take more than 5 or 10 minutes. So are there any other topics that we would like to discuss today? Okay. Oh, 1 second. Lori.
Thank you, Karen. It's just a quick announcement. In case anybody's wondering, our live link is broken right now, but have no fear. Eric and Mark are working in the background. We're gonna get it fixed, and this wonderful video we have going will be uploaded to YouTube here very shortly. So nobody is out. You'll still get, too bad, Jane. I see that look on Jane's face. She's still gonna get it on YouTube. So just FYI, in case anybody asks y'all, that will be fixed here shortly.
Okay, thanks for the update, Lori, and Mark and Eric for all the work that you do for the club and making sure that we can all keep aware of what's going on. All right, seeing no other topics coming up for discussion, I want to remind all of the region officers the suggested attire for the IBT meeting on Wednesday and on Saturday based on the info in the event guide is for our region polos and dark pants. I believe we normally try to wear red, the red polos for the IBT meetings, but any region polo will work. I also want to remind the region presidents that at the end of the IBT meeting, they usually do what I refer to as a round table where each president is allowed to make announcements or thanks for people in their region. So I want to remind you to be prepared for that so that you're not sitting there going, oh crap, what am I supposed to say? Is there any other reminders or things that we want to bring up at this time? Again, seeing none, the next question is, normally I will ask if we want to hold a forum prior to the next IBT meeting. Just want to let you know, remind you that the next IBT meeting after Wednesday is scheduled for Saturday, June 27th. Our region officers forum is tentatively scheduled for Thursday, June 25th. Andy Selking has requested time to review his budget and a motion that will be presented at that IBT meeting. Tom has mentioned that he has a motion that will be presented at that IBT meeting. So I will do this. Is there any objection to holding the Region Officers Forum on Thursday, June 25th? I see no hands, so we will plan on going forward with that. And then the next question is, do you want me to continue as facilitator for that meeting? I see some heads nodding, but if you object, would you please raise your hand? Seeing none, I will plan on doing that on Thursday. Then the other thing is, with only 2 motions coming before the IBT, we will again have time to discuss some things, some items that may be of general interest to all regions. And I encourage you, if you have some items, if you would just drop me a quick email, I will then maybe late Wednesday night or Thursday morning send something out to everybody so you know what topics or other topics may be discussed. And that's all I have for today. Patty Reed.
I just want to remind you that on that the Region Officers Forum on Thursday, it's still before the installation, but it's really going to affect the incoming presidents of regions because they will be the ones voting on it. Nope. Am I wrong, Lori?
Let me answer that, and then Lori, you can add if you want to. We have invited all of the incoming region presidents as well as the incoming second VPs to that meeting. So
okay,
it will
good.
be
Just with
the
reminder.
The invitations were based on who will be sitting at the IBT meeting on Saturday.
Okay.
Lori, do you want to add to that?
Yes, everybody's invites, Patty, went out on Saturday, and the invites are specific to the person. So for example, you may be a panelist today, and that's because you're current in your officer seat, and then you may have been invited to the next region forum as a courtesy as an outgoing officer, but you're going to be an attendee, not a panelist. So all the invitations are out. Everybody should have gotten either 4 or 5, depending upon who you are, what role you play. And again, the panelist invites are per person. You do not share those with anybody else. They're specific to you. And then the attendees, it's more of a general thing. But again, not to be shared with other members. That's within, we're trying to keep it somewhat contained. That's it.
Mike Sisk, thank you, Lori.
Yeah, I just have a quick question, and maybe I missed this, but has the Midwinter IBT location been confirmed? I thought there was a question about that.
I have not heard anything. Lori, do you know anything? Can you, or is Andy planning to make an announcement?
It's all gonna, I think will depend on our discussions and what we come up with budget wise, but if we do have an in-person, it'll be in Sarasota, Florida.
Okay.
Or it will be if we do.
All right. Thank you.
Sure.
Any other comments or questions from anyone? Okay, I see none. Thank you all for joining us today. Appreciate your time and your efforts and on behalf of your regions. And we'll talk again actually on Wednesday with most of you for the IBT meeting and on Thursday again for the forum. Thank you again.